Salt Lake City earthquakes are rattling Utah for the second day. Magnitude 3.2, 2.9, 2.7, and about 40 smaller quakes today. But we're going to take a look at the geology of Salt Lake. As we know, Salt Lake is a lake. And the other thing is that it has a mantle plume from Baja, California, going all the way through Salt Lake up to Yellowstone. That's the mantle plume, as you can see here. And we had a Baja quake just a few days ago. Remember that quake that was pretty big? It was like 5 point something, 5.6. And it also hit towards the west coast because part of that mantle plume goes west into California. And the other branch goes east all the way through Utah into Yellowstone. So this is the magma, the mantle plume that feeds Yellowstone. It's passing right under Utah. And of course, we're going to take a look, a much closer look today at the geology of Yellowstone Lake, and you're going to see the volcanic, the intrusions under there. As we said, there's magma under there. Okay, but we're also going to see that because it's a lake, and these quakes are on the southern part of Urmia Lake right there, it's soft. It's a very soft sediment and salt. And obviously, when the ground shakes, because it's a soft sediment, the buildings are going to feel it. They're not going to be stable enough as opposed to being built on stronger ground. Let's take a look at the quakes first, and then we'll talk about the geology. The quake a few days ago, and this is again a volcanic area, Salton Butte, Salton Sea right there, and the Baja area right there. The mantle plume goes to the west, the western arm. It's like a Y shape, and the other part goes through Utah. That's Salt Lake right there, and into Yellowstone. Okay, that line goes like this. Okay, this is what we're looking at today. Even though we had Cascadia quake 5.3 yesterday and more today, but we're looking at this right now. The 5.7, 4.6, and the 3.2, 2.9, 2.7, which was felt by reported by thousands to USGS. So it must have been felt by a lot more, many thousands today. Now let's go to our map. This is it right here. As we can see, take these off. The yellows are yesterday's quakes. The blues are today's. Okay, there were no quakes there the day before yesterday. Well, maybe one or two on the north part of the, I think it was in the north part of the lake. Oh, there's another one here at the north part of the lake. Okay, that's 2.5. Again, today's quake, 2.5. And that again was shallow, felt by 18 people. Okay, 2.5. I didn't record that, but I'm talking about Salt Lake, against the southern part of Salt Lake. And if we put in all the earthquakes of the area, we just had another one. Okay. We had other ones at Bear Lake. You can see that they're making their way up to, through that fault line all the way, as you can see right here, up to Yellowstone, right there. That's Yellowstone. And we can see the shape of it. That's the shape of it. From here to here. That's the same mantle plume, by the way. It's just in two different, it splits into a fork. Okay, but now let's look, this is yesterday's that we saw, the big one, 5.2 in Petrolia. And, okay, let's take it out, I'm sorry. I want you to see what's happening in Canada today. They had, look at this. Oh, this is a new one, okay. 3 magnitude, okay. You can see that there's a lot of activity today in Canada as well. The red ones are just today, and even on the East Coast. West Coast and East Coast, and this is just north of Vancouver Island. Cascadia, this is yesterday's quake here that we saw before. No, that's another one, 3.6, Eugene, Oregon. Okay, the 5.3 is what we saw just before. Okay, the Cascadia, as you can see, is still active. And when we usually get quakes north of Vancouver, it hits here and it hits in Ridgecrest at the Walker Lane fault system, which is not one fault, but many faults, and the pressure usually opens up there. Okay, so I wanted to show you the shape of this, and now we'll go into our quakes. And as I was talking, we just had another one, 2.1. 2.1, reported felt by 11 people. That's okay. We won't talk about the little ones because we're just going to get, there's so many of them. There's like 40 of them. So let's take them out, put the big ones on so we don't get dizzy with all these circles there. Okay, that's better for now. And you can see the area is in between lakes. Okay, the Great Salt Lake and Utah Lake. And basically it's a, that's a swamp right there. That swamp. And this is a valley of lakes. There's another lake there. There's another lake under here, right here. It's a valley of lakes. There's another lake here. Going to, let's go in here so we can see a much better picture of what we're looking at. Right there, Salt Lake City. It's a valley, low-lying valley, in between, on the west of the mountain range. And 3.2, let's look at the shaking. It's shaking again, as you can see. And I'd like to go to the liquefaction. Oh, they don't have one here. Okay, we'll take a look at the liquefaction of the bigger quake because the bigger quake shows it. And I'm not making this up. This is USGS information. 5.7 that we had yesterday. About 35,000 people reported it. You could imagine like maybe 100,000 felt it. Actually, millions felt it. But 2.8 million supposedly that was reported that felt it. Let's go to our liquefaction map. Liquefaction estimate, and let's put in our tectonics. Okay, take off the shaking because we can't see properly like this. Okay, this is the liquefaction area. You see that there? That's Salt Lake right there. Put in the population. Okay, Salt Lake City right here. And this is the liquefaction, as you can see. And here as well. Okay, that's very strong liquefaction there. I'm not making this up. I'm not being a fearmonger. Okay, this is the way it is. It's a lake. It's a lake area. And you have faults running through that lake. You can see the faults. Can you see the faults? The red lines here, here, here. It's under the, take out the liquefaction, or take out the population density at least. Take out the liquefaction and you can see right here, right here, right here, right here, okay, where the liquefaction, and that's not good, obviously. That's not good. Now let's go to our, okay, we said that we had thousands of people yesterday, and no, this is the 3.1. Is that the 3 point? That's a 3.2. This is the 3.2. Yes, that's a 2.7. This is 3.2. This is 2.9. The 2.9, 2.7 don't show the shaking, but the 3.2 does, and we can see it's right in the area of the liquefaction. And now, the area of the geology of Utah. We said yesterday that there are 8 volcanoes, again, they're on the line going towards Salt Lake City and into Wyoming. We saw that we had a mantle plume there. And these are the names of the volcanoes. Let's go to Bald Knoll, the youngest. And when did it erupt last? Okay. A plateau, Bald Knoll cinder cone, probably erupted only a few thousand years ago. It was an intact crater which has produced a massive, youthful-looking lava flow, traveled about 12 kilometers, located to west side of Kanab Creek. And go to the other one now. The Black Rock Desert. That's the Utah's youngest known rhyolite dome. 400,000 years old, and it's the youngest lava flows, roughly 660-year-old Ice Springs lava flows, located at Ice Springs. 660-year-old Ice Spring lava flows. These lava flows extend 4 kilometers, okay. So Black Rock is the youngest. You can understand how young these are. Then you have fumaroles, you have Kolob, you have other ones there as well, Santa Clara, Smelter Knolls. And so the youngest one basically is 660 years ago. Okay, so they have 8 volcanoes there. And then we go to let's go to our map. I don't know why they have these countries there. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're just making fun of whatever is there. But this is Salt Lake. And this is where we're having our quakes. Okay. And as you can see here, this area here is mud and salt flats. I guess basically it's dried up. The water has receded, it's dried up, and what's left was mud and salt. Alluvial. Then you have the green is the carbonate sedimentary, and gray is non-carbonate sedimentary. Yellow is evaporate. Water has evaporated from there. So you can see even this is very, it was an old lake. Then you have the brownish here are volcanics. Volcanosedimentary units, volcanics, intrusions like dikes, magma intrusions, okay, metamorphics, and the major fault lines. Where are the major fault lines? I don't see any. I think I saw here, right here, North Tabriz Fault. Okay, that's a major fault line, but there's other fault lines there too. So you can see basically this area here, even the white alluvial, this is soft. The whole thing here is soft. And then you have some intrusions because of the magma that was underneath. Okay? And that's what we have. Soft sediments from evaporations here. And this is the area that is, of course, liquefaction area, as we saw from our USGS map. And this is where we're getting all our quakes for some odd reason. This is where we're getting all our quake swarms for some odd reason. This is the second day of them, and felt by a lot of people. Please be they're felt because it's very soft, of course. So please be very careful. I have some viewers that are living right there. The Latter-day Saints temple has had some damage to the spire and the statue. Some buildings have reported that they've had damage from falling bricks and plaster and things like that. It's because of just because you have an earthquake and we're saying liquefaction doesn't mean that the buildings are going to sink and collapse. It's just they're going to have damage. They're going to shake more. And the 5.7 was not a small quake. And we're seeing a lot of activity there. So please be careful. I just wanted to show you the Salt Lake map. Dried up salt and sediment, and you have some intrusion from magma, old volcanics there. The red up here as well, up here all around the lake, as you can see, and the major fault line right here, plus other fault lines that we have. Where are they? Let's see. Let's put in our fault lines here, and we can see more of them here. Take out our shake maps. Okay, there we go. Take out the shake maps. You can see the faults better. Okay. You can see they're everywhere. Right here is where we're having our earthquakes, right here. And that's the liquefaction area. So please be careful because it's right at Salt Lake City. Okay, God bless you. Take care of each other, and please be safe. Thank you for your support. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.